In a village not so long ago lived a woman named Ada. She was famous for two things: her breathtaking beauty and her terrifying temper. Even from a young age, whispers followed her about how quickly her sunny smile could turn into a raging storm. A tiny mistake would ignite a shouting match, and a simple disagreement would escalate into a hurricane of anger. Many admired her beauty from a distance, but only one man was bold enough to get close, a man named Hassan. Hassan was everything Ada was not: calm, generous, and incredibly wealthy. He owned shops, lands, and businesses all across the region. But it wasn't his riches that earned him respect, it was his kindness. He was known for helping the poor, supporting his friends, and honoring his family. So when Hassan asked for Ada's hand in marriage, her parents were overjoyed. They hoped his gentle spirit would finally soothe their daughter's fiery nature. And for a little while, it seemed to work. Their wedding was a grand celebration, with music and laughter filling the air. Ada moved into Hassan's magnificent house, where servants attended to her every need. Her wardrobe overflowed with expensive clothes and sparkling jewelry. Hassan treated her like a queen, always saying with a warm smile, "Anything you want, Ada, just tell me." And she would nod, content for the moment. But this peace was fragile, and it wasn't destined to last. The first cracks appeared over something small. One morning, a maid accidentally served Ada her tea without sugar. "Are you stupid?" Ada shrieked, throwing the cup to the floor where it shattered. "Must I repeat myself every single day?" The poor girl trembled with fear. Hassan rushed in, trying to calm the situation. "Ada, please," he said gently, "it was just a mistake." "Then you drink it." She snapped back at him. Without another word, Hassan apologized to the maid and cleaned up the mess himself. That day, something small but significant broke inside their home. From there, her anger only grew worse. She began to insult Hassan in front of their visitors, embarrassing him publicly. She drove away his closest friends with her harsh words: "You people only come here to eat his money." She would scream, "Leave my house." One by one, they stopped coming. Even Hassan's younger sister, who came to spend a weekend, was accused of spying and sent away in tears. "Hassan, you have to control your wife," his sister pleaded before she left, "or you will lose everyone." Hassan could only sigh, softly saying, "She will change." But she didn't. Ada's rage soon spilled over into Hassan's business affairs. Whenever his partners came for important meetings, she would interrupt them with insults. "These men are cheats," she would declare loudly. "Don't trust them, Hassan." Feeling disrespected and undermined, some partners withdrew their investments. Major contracts were cancelled, and lucrative deals fell through. Slowly but surely, Hassan's thriving businesses began to collapse. The river of money that once flowed freely slowed to a mere trickle, but Ada didn't seem to care. When Hassan tried to explain the situation, she would shout, "Why are you complaining? You're still rich, aren't you? Just go make more money." Eventually, Hassan stopped arguing. He just grew quiet, retreating into himself. Months turned into years. The house that once echoed with laughter fell silent. Friends no longer visited. Families stopped calling. One by one, the servants resigned, unable to bear Ada's wrath any longer. The shops closed down, the cars were sold, and the properties were lost. Worst of all, Hassan's health began to fail. The constant stress etched deep lines into his face. His once strong and vibrant body grew thin and frail. He developed a persistent cough and could barely sleep at night. Yet Ada's cruelty continued. "You're useless these days," she sneered one evening. "All you do is sit around and think. A real man provides for his family." Hassan just looked at her, his eyes filled with 1,000 unspoken words of pain and disappointment, but he said nothing. He had no fight left in him. One night, Ada returned from the market, still fuming over a small argument she'd had with a trader. "Hassan," she called out as she entered the silent house. "Where are you?" No answer. She dropped her shopping bag with a thud. Hassan, still only silence. The house felt strangely, eerily empty. Then she noticed it. His clothes were gone from the wardrobe. His shoes were missing from the rack. The small suitcase he kept under the bed had vanished. On the table, there was nothing. No letter, no message, no goodbye. Her son was gone. At first, she scoffed. "He'll come back," she muttered to herself. Where else would he go? But days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. There was no sign of Hassan. No money came in. No visitors knocked on the door. There was nothing. The once grand house now felt like a vast empty tomb. And for the first time in her life, Ada heard a sound she had never noticed before, the deafening sound of her own loneliness. One evening, she sat alone, staring at the old cracked teacup she had once thrown in a fit of rage. Memories flooded her mind. She saw Hassan apologizing for things he didn't do, Hassan defending her to his family, Hassan smiling through his pain. She saw Hassan, her kind and patient husband, slowly fading away before her very eyes. Tears, real and hot, began to roll down her cheeks. "What have I done?" she whispered to the empty room. She remembered every insult, every shout, every cruel word she had ever thrown at him. Each memory felt like a knife stabbing her in the heart. She had chased away his family. She had driven away his friends. She had destroyed his wealth and his health. And finally, she had driven away Hassan himself. Now, there was no one left to shout at, no one left to blame. There was only regret, a feeling so heavy and merciless it crushed her. Ada fell to her knees and cried harder than she ever had in her life. "If only I had been kinder. If only I had listened." But it was too late. Hassan was gone, and some losses you can never get back. From that day forward, Ada changed. She began to speak softly. She helped her neighbors. She treated everyone she met with kindness and respect. But every single night she would sit by the door, hoping, praying that Hassan might one day walk back in. He never did. And Ada lived the rest of her life carrying the painful, heavy truth. Her own anger had destroyed the greatest gift that love had ever given her. Don't let your own battles destroy the beautiful things in your life. Remember to be kind, because some goodbyes are forever. Thank you for watching.